Hi, my name is Mike Theiss, and I teach my face-to-face classes at the University of Wisconsin Marathon campus. I also teach for the University of Wisconsin online campus. I will be working with you in an application called Microsoft Excel. Hi, there's some basic terms having to do with designing a worksheet and working in Excel that I want to make sure that I cover here. There are a number of places in the textbook and in the D2L content area where there's some discussion about designing a worksheet. It's not as simple as just sitting down and starting to type. When we're working with Excel, we have relationships that we're working with. We are creating formulas based on the relationships of the raw data in the rows and columns on the worksheet in front of us. I have a workbook open. I'm moving my mouse up on the title bar around this pre-named workbook. I did that to keep things moving smoothly. I have a worksheet, okay, where I'm moving the mouse around. My first worksheet here has my raw data on it. I have another worksheet where I've put some terms. These are the important terms that I would really hope that you can wrap your head around pretty quickly. Because as we move through Excel, you will find these terms keep coming back. And when we communicate with each other, if you know these terms and understand, it'll help us communicate more effectively. I'm going back to the first worksheet. Oh, and by the way, we only see 3 because that's the way by default the Microsoft folks have set up our Excel applications. You can change it if you want to. You have a grand total of 255 worksheets that you could work with. I kind of like working with 3 better than 255. I have some information on my worksheet. Okay, I want my worksheet to be descriptive. I use labels. There's a area up here with car mileage report and some verbiage here in these cells that describe the data. I have my columns. Okay, they're over 65,000 rows in each column, and I have my rows, and 27 times through the alphabet is how many columns that I have. So we've got some pretty big work areas. I'm going to keep it really small for now. I am looking at this worksheet and I'm reviewing this data. I have some numbers that have been given to me, okay? These numbers were typed in from the worksheets. They are constants. They don't change. If I go to this cell for the number of gallons at the end of the first trip, I have 8.5. In cell C4, I put my cursor up here by the name box. In cell C4, I have a value, a constant of 8.5. I can do math on values. I cannot do math on the labels. Labels and text, synonymous terms here. I do want to do something before we get going here. I want to take my mouse, go up here in column C, and I get this little arrow pointing down. This is my way of inserting a new column. Okay, I can click my left mouse button, select all 65,000 plus rows. I moved my mouse down into the selection area. I click on my right mouse key. I see the option for inserting, pop. I just created a new column. I needed that column because in looking at my worksheet, my earlier worksheet, I figured out I don't have the mileage driven. Okay, I missed that. Pretty easy to take care of here in the computer. I'm going to take and I'm adding some text to the top of that column. And I'm going to tap my Enter key. Now, if you look carefully, I'm going to select the text. Some of these columns, they cut off the text. The words, the labels are too wide for the column. I want to change that. I want to be able to see every word in my label. I selected an area. I'm going to go up to the alignment grouping here, and I'm going to go over to this tool for word wrap, wrap text. Just like you had word wrapping going on in your word processing documents, and it was crucial, you can use a similar tool called wrap text. It'll take, and if you have some text that was bumping up against the right side, okay, for example, in this cell and in this one, it wrapped it. It made it fit in one cell. Pretty simple. Now I moved my cursor down into cell C4. And by the way, I like to work with a scratch paper and a pencil. So before I go typing things in here and wildly moving on, I can kind of check my work as I go. Crucial. I know that I have a beginning mileage and an ending miles. I know I'm trying to figure out the miles per gallon. I've got the raw data, but I'm missing some information, some data here. Okay? I need to have a way of figuring out, okay, the difference. And if I tell the computer in this cell right here that I clicked on, and I'm going to use the equal sign. I tap the equal sign on my keypad, and it tells the computer, hey computer, there's a formula coming. Be ready, there's a mathematical relationship here. I'm not using a calculator and taking what's in cell B4 and subtracting A4 and putting in a constant. I'm putting in a relationship. And for a lot of you probably didn't use Excel or think like this, especially when I have my regular college students, the regular freshmen, sophomores. They sometimes have a hard time putting their head around this concept. We have to tell the computer the relationship. I'm going to use my mouse, and I'm going to use cell references. I take my mouse, and I'm moving over here, and I'm saying, hey computer, with a left mouse click, you take what's in B4. Now I've got to tell the computer what mathematical operator to work. Again, this term operator is well defined in the text. I think you'll relate to it pretty quickly. I know that I want to subtract, and the dash is the subtraction operator here in Excel. Take what's in B4 and subtract A4 from it. See the relationship? My ending, and I subtract the beginning mileage. When I tap enter, I'm going to get displayed a value. Important concept coming up here. In cell C4 is a formula. Up here in the formula bar, this is what I created. A formula that says, hey computer, take what you find in cell B4 and subtract A4. In Excel, when you tell a computer to do a formula, it displays the result of that relationship. Only the formula bar will show us the actual relationship. This is displayed here is the value. Now I want to do one more thing. I'm going to go over here, and I'm in cell E4, and I say, boy, oh boy, miles per gallon. That's going to be the 250, and I used 8.5. I don't want to type out those constants. I know I want an equal sign here. I'm going to take what's in this cell. Now I'm going to add a new operator for division. Again, you can reference the text to find these. I'm going to take what's in C4 and divide it by what's in D4. And I'm going to tap enter. Okay? I have displayed a result. I have 29.41176 miles per gallon. Just for your interest here, unless told otherwise, Microsoft does division to the 17th decimal place. I can control my decimal places because, man, I can't visualize 29.41176. With the cells selected, I can go up to the number, and I've got my mouse up here. I'm going to decrease it. Okay, I can relate to this. I can't relate to the other one. But even though it is displaying this number, the math is still being done on all those decimal places I mentioned. Now, I want to show you a final tool before I move on. And again, this final tool is in the text that describes it, and I think you'll relate to it real fast. It's called the autofill tool. If I take, now that I've got this relationship and I'm comfortable with it, and I put my mouse cursor right here on the bottom right-hand corner, my mouse icon changes. I get this little, I call it my gun sight. And I hold my left mouse button, hold, and I dragged down, okay, I got some autofill here. Please note, there's no digits, there's no numbers over here, so the math isn't going to show. But I did this on purpose so you would see autofill and what happens. If I go back to this cell where I also have a formula, and I use good old autofill, and you have to have the icon that you see there right now. Not this one, and I pull down, it took the formulas, moved them down the cells. As I pulled down, it took the formula and it kept it in a relative position, it kept moving down, and here is my workbook. I can save it, and I can send it into D2L, attach it to my little message going to my Dropbox, and I have my activity done. Hope you liked it. Hope it gave you some thought. Thank you.